Heidi, Heidi Schröck, and we're here talking today about the 2019 and 2020 vintages today with Heidi Schröck in Rust, and now with Heidi Schröck and son, one of your sons, here today. Can you please give us a short introduction here?
So, yeah, hello. I'm Heidi Schröck from Rust in the very east of Austria, sitting here with my son Georg. And we are actually sitting in our over 600-year-old office, which used to be a storage room for corn and wheat and whatever. And yeah, I think this is also something quite like a picture for the work we are doing here. We are quite in the tradition of our ancestors, but we look forward and we look for things which are interesting for us as winemakers. Because being in a small winery, and we are still a very small family-run winery, it's interesting to do other things and always to try something. And it's so beautiful for us to have customers who go the way with us. You know, who like the way we are doing our wines, and we are looking for new things. It was the first year when we worked, the three of us. So until 2019, it was called Heidi Schröck, Weinbäuerin in Rust, which means winemaker, female form of winemaker in Rust. And in December 2019, we started as a company, and it's now called Heidi Schröck and Sons, und Söhne in German. And it's both, it's Georg and his twin brother Johannes, and they both decided after, you know, making experience in other fields, and they studied different things from psychology and other things. And Georg went to Geisenheim, and after Geisenheim he went to Bordeaux and to New Zealand, and worked in a lot of biodynamic wine estates like Burn Cottage vineyards. And yeah, they decided to be here, and it makes me happy and a little proud. And it was a year full of challenges. In March, when all these things came up, I felt so sorry, and really some days I didn't know what to say in the morning, because I thought, okay, it is the first year of my sons being in the winery and working, and now we have this completely breakdown. But after a few weeks, we really knew how proud we can be of our customers, of our private customers who started to order, you know, boxes and wines, because, you know, everybody sat at home and everybody drank wine, and later on it was also the export markets coming back, and this made us really we had a very great year, because it was challenging, but it was also good to work with all these with all our customers. And during this time, my two sons decided, because we had a cellar full of wines, and they decided to make a pet map early enough, because we had one wine which didn't ferment until the end. So we bottled it, and the fermentation finished in the bottle. And this was the Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, Volume 1, Volume 2, which you were so happy to purchase. And yeah, we like it too, because it is yeasty, but it's also fruity and very good to drink. And another new wine came into existence. It was picked by Skrönig people in the vintage of 2019. It was the first wine we picked. It was the wine we picked the day when the Skrönig people came to visit us. And it is, we call it Amphora Bernstein. Bernstein because we are so close to the Amber Road, and Amber is Bernstein in German. And also the color of the wine it reminds us very much on Bernstein, on Amber. Yeah, and I give the word to Georg, who will tell you a little bit about the wine, about the year, about the growing season, and how he thinks about that.
Yeah, that's great. So my name is George, and yeah, I'm really glad after all my years of studying and gaining experience in wineries all over, for me to come back home and to kind of smoothly work together with my brother and my mom, and really to realize some of the ideas that I picked up. And yeah, and we really got into this year. We hit the floor running, and it was nonetheless a challenging year because I remember it was really a warm and dry winter. So we started off with with uh, with a lack of water in the vineyards, which you could see until the end of the growing season. Then in the very warm spring, March and April, the bud break happened, and at the point in May, it started to rain right at the point of the flowering. So we had a kind of difficult fruit set, which explains the very low yields of the 2020 vintage. Excellent for the ripeness, but we have some barrels empty this year. Yeah, and the summer was I would say rather rather moderated. So not the heat spikes that we're getting used to, but it was warm and sunny, but not extreme, which kind of explains to me the freshness of the wines. We still have, I think this year is very much marked by its freshness and balance. Yeah, and we could harvest quite early. We went for it this year for the first time quite earlier than other wineries surrounding us. And I think this was a good decision because the ripeness was there and there was nothing to wait for. We picked in the mornings because it wasn't, it was very hot, but we got it done quite quick, and it was.
Tell them that we are not finished yet.
Oh yeah, we still have grapes to pick at this point, and Heidi is quite upset about it. But I try to assure her it's the right thing.
Look at the calendar.
So it's December 22nd, and you still have fruit on the vines. What date did you start harvest in 2020?
We started on 3rd of September. With a little bit of the Pinot Blanc for Petnat, and we continued with Muscat, with Muscatella, and then
which we have in the glass.
Exactly. And then it kind of smoothly continued with the other Pinot Blancs and with the Pinot Gris, and with the Rosé for Biscaya, with the red grapes, and then we had a little break. Then we went for Blaufränkisch and the Furmint, which are always late ripening. And the sweet wines took a lot of time. We only picked the first round mid of December, and here we are. Still waiting.
Georg, you said that for you the ripeness was there. The quantity was small, but the ripeness was there. How would you compare it to another vintage? What's the character you find when you're tasting the wines now that some of them have been through fermentation? What's the character of the vintage for you?
I thought about that, and as I don't have so many years experience here in the winery, really on the ground, but I remember the 2013 vintage. I was only for a short period of time here in the state, only for the beginning of harvest, and spent the other part in Lower Austria. And I remember it was quite a year of it was a year with early ripeness for some varieties, especially the Burgundy varieties, and but it had a freshness in the acidity, especially for the red varieties. Yeah, which makes me think it's similar 2013, and also a very late sweet wine harvest. Yeah.
Heidi, do you agree? Do you think it's similar in some ways to 2013?
2013 and 2012. 2012 also was yeah, quite similar with the summer and everything. And in 2012 we had the smallest sweet wine harvest ever. It was only 100 liters or something. This year it will be more because we are waiting. I mean, we are having discussions every single day about that, serious discussions. But I accept that because you only get to know something new if you try it. And this year we are trying.
Excellent. And is there anything else that you've produced this year that's different than what you've done in past years? Any new wines produced or different things? Have you made another amphora wine as you did in last year?
We did a thing with the amphora. We this year because our part of our Pinot Gris vineyard was really beautiful, and it was ahead of the others. So we decided to pick that and ferment it in the amphora. And yeah, it's a really beautiful color. It's got this kind of copper touch, but a little bit more rosy. So it's halfway to a Pinot Noir, and yeah, it's really I like this style quite a lot.
Yeah, and we of course we make the Petnat again. The Muscatella Sauvage is so beautiful. I can't tell you. It has this really floral aromas together with the creaminess and seriousness, and it's really beautiful. Please taste it.
Yeah, with the Muscatella, we for a couple of years we've been doing it like that. We do a maceration on the skins before pressing overnight, so which really gives this kind of aroma boost in the grape juice. This kind of steps back during the fermentation, but we also ferment part of the berries in the barrels, so to give it a little bit more structure. That's our idea. And now it's done with the malolactic fermentation, and it's still on the lees, and we're trying to make it more creamy and to yeah, create our special style of Muscatella.
Excellent. Is there a particular vineyard that you felt was really exceptional in this vintage? Something that was a bit different because of the weather patterns? You talked a lot about lack of water. Was that lack of water through the entire season? And could you tell in a particular vineyard was one better than another because of this?
We do have the vineyards running up the slope, and somewhere in the middle of the slope there's a little there's a more gravelly spot. That's where the lack of moisture is most dominant, and there you really could see the growth was a little bit depressed. So that was kind of special. We had to wait a little bit longer to pick it, but the fruit has a concentration also of phenolics that we also is part of our style, which is really extraordinary. Yeah.
This is the Turner vineyard, the famous Turner vineyard, where we don't only have the full mint, but we also have Pinot Gris and Pinot Blanc. And it is a kind of historic wine site, because when our ancestors arrived in around about 1780, they must have brought a bag of money, and they bought this big land in this vineyard site, and it's kind of a heart piece in this whole hill, and it is protected by a stone wall against the west, and it rolls down to the lake. So it's really, really beautiful.
Excellent. Thank you both very much.